To begin, click on Create New Design, and then it should load the bed just like the one we did in the first tutorial video. Now today I'm only going to show you how to create a basic rocket. Yours can look different from this. This is just the basic kind of rocket that you could make. So I'm going to go over to the right hand side and bring in a cylinder just to start, so the on shape on the right hand side. And drop it. Now I'm going to change the sizes. It's a wee bit bigger than the spinning top, so this time I'm going to make it 70 by 70. Okay, so 70 length and 70 breadth. And click and drag it into place. Now the height's going to be taller because obviously it's a rocket, so it can't be that short. So I'm going to click on the wee white square underneath the black arrow. You can see I have to rotate to see it. I'm going to change this to 140. I'm going to have to zoom out using the wheel and the mouse just to have a good look at it. And I can click down the right hand side of the mouse and rotate. And I can also hold down the wheel and the mouse and actually move the screen about. Now I want my rocket to have some feet to help it launch, so I'm going to bring in this green triangle. And I'm going to bring it up to a height of, now I can drag the height you can see here with the wee white box, or I can type one in. I'll make it 50, just a nice easy round number. I'm going to just rotate round, and I'm also going to make it quite thin, this triangle. I'm going to make it 5. And I'll make it 40 wide. Now there's a triangle there. I don't actually need the whole triangle. You'll see how I use this. I'm going to drag it in so half of it disappears into the orange shape and half of it's sticking out. And that's my first wee leg, my first foot, if you will, of the rocket to help it launch. And if I click on the top there, on the wee square, and I can just drag it round, I can actually use the arrows in my keyboard, or I can use my mouse, and I can just put it right in so it's right in the middle of my rocket. Now I want more than one of these feet, so I'm going to copy and paste this, and you do that by clicking Ctrl C and Ctrl V, C for cat, V for violet, and it gives me something identical to the thing I've just copy and pasted, so another wee foot. I'm going to drag it round and put it into place on this side, and then I'm going to have to look from the top of the shape just to make sure they're lined up correctly. I can always move it with the arrows on my keyboard if it's not quite in the right spot. I'm going to need another one. I'm only going to use 3, so I'm going to copy and paste it again, but this time when I drag it over here, I'm actually going to go to that wee round arrow because I want to rotate it. Now if I rotate on the outside edge of this clock, it moves 1 degree at a time. If I go on the inside, it moves about 15 and 10 degrees at a time. So you can see that I can go on the outside edge and move it 1 degree, or I can go to the inside of the wee clock, move my mouse in a wee bit, and I can move it in kind of larger segments, and I want to move it around 90 degrees and move it in so again half of the rocket disappears into the shape. It's not quite in the centre there, so I'm going to move it over, and then I'll probably want to check, just there we go, that it's right in the centre, and that's my 3 feet for the rocket. I'm going to drag a box around all of them, and I'm going to group them together, and they should all change to that orange colour. So that's me got kind of a basic shape for a rocket. I've got the body and the 3 feet. Now I want to hollow out the centre, so I'm going to drag over this whole, the cylinder with the kind of grey slashes through it. And it's going to be on the very bottom. So I'm going to actually have to rotate around and look at the bottom of my shape here because I'm wanting to hollow out the inside so I've got room for water. I'm going to zoom in a wee bit and I'm just going to move that cylindrical hole shape that I dragged in to the centre of my rocket. So you see, I'm just going to make sure I'm looking directly underneath it, and I'm going to drag it right into the centre. Now I don't want it to be quite the same size, I need it to be a bit smaller. So I'm going to actually make this 60 by 60, just once I've got it into the right place. So again, you can click on the wee white square in the corner. It says it's 20 by 20, but I'm going to make it 60 by 60. And that means it will hollow out the whole shape, but leave me with a small border on the outside. And I'll just use the arrows on my keyboard just to make sure it's centred. Now I don't want the hole cut into the whole shape, so I'm going to have to move this up slightly. So I'm going to rotate round, and this time I'm actually going to grab the black arrow. Now we've talked about this before, but we've not used it before. So I'm going to grab this black arrow and I'm going to pull it up. And I'm going to pull it up, and then you can see the wee size on the right hand side here. I'm going to make this 10 millimeters, so 10. And what that's going to do is that's going to prevent the hole from starting at the bottom, and it's going to start the hole slightly further up my rocket. And I'm going to change this to 140. And you can see it cuts right out the top of my shape, and I'm going to group them. So make sure you highlight everything in a box and go to group. And what you'll see here is I've actually hollowed out the centre, but I've not cut through the bottom of the shape. That's why I had to move the hole up slightly. So there's nothing left in the middle of the rocket. That's all for water later on to help us launch it. But there's not a hole at the bottom. Now I'm going to have to add a small hole to the bottom here, because we're going to put a cork in it and use a bicycle pump to launch it. So there needs to be a small hole for the water to escape, but not a big one. So I'm going to drag in that cylinder, the one with the grey slashes through it, put it in the centre, and I'm going to change the sizes to 22 by 22. That's a really important size. So 22 by 22. And again, just make sure it's in the centre. And then I'm just going to rotate round, and I'm going to group everything. And you'll see here what I've got is I've got a small hole at the bottom for the water to rush out of to help launch it. I've got a hole going right in the middle. I've hollowed out the centre, so that's loads of space for water to go into. And my rocket's almost finished. This is a really basic one, remember, but it's just about there. Now my rocket needs something to go on top of it. I could choose any shape, I could choose the cone or something, but I'm going to go with this shape here. And I'm just going to size it so it's going to fit exactly onto the top. So remember, the diameter of our rocket was 70 by 70, so the lid has to be 70 by 70. It was also 140 millimeters high, so I'm going to grab that black arrow and I'm going to pull it up 140 millimeters, the same height as the rocket. And it's just going to pop up there. And then what I can do is I can actually just move it over. So I'll just move it into position so you can see. And I can just use the arrows in my keyboard to move this over. So it fits exactly onto the top. I might just have to look round, just move it a wee bit more. Yep, there we go, just drag it into place. I'm going to look at the very top of the rocket, just to make sure that there are no wee gaps. So I'm going to click on the wee box up here. And I can just move it slightly just to make sure it's perfectly centred. Again, just highlight everything and group it. Now we're just about finished with the rocket. You can see there I've got the hole at the bottom for the water to rush out of. I've hollowed it out. I've got 3 feet. It's a nice shape, aerodynamic. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add on one wee extra feature. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to do it because it makes printing easier. I'm going to actually, before I export it, I'm going to flatten out one edge so that I can sit it in the printer and it'll print flat. Now, that may be a wee bit hard for you to understand, but you'll understand it in a wee second. So I'm going to scroll back to the top of the shapes, and this time I'm going to drag in the grey box. So this is a box, but it's got all those grey slashes in it, and I'm just going to drag it across so it cuts into my rocket a wee bit, not too much. But you can see here it's cutting into my rocket a bit. Sizes don't have to be perfect here. So you can see that's just cutting into the edge of it. And I'm just going to take a wee slice of the side of the rocket out. Now I can centre that as best I can, but because it's circular, I've done a pretty good job there, it's kind of in the centre. And I'm going to highlight everything and group it, and you'll see what it does here. So it's taken a flat edge, you can see that's cut a flat edge right off, almost like I've gone down with a knife and chopped off a bit of my rocket, so we can now see inside it. Now I want to cover that up so there's not going to be any places for the water to get out, so I'm going to drag in the red box this time. And I'm just going to size this so it's the exact same is that wee hole that I just cut. So I'm going to drag it along the way and make it a wee bit thinner. I don't want it thick at all here, just nice and thin, just flat enough for it to sit on. So I think I've made it 2mm. And just make sure it's the right size on both sides. Looks okay. Now I'm going to drag it up to the top there. And you can see that what I've got now is a rocket with a flat bottom. Group them. And there you have it. And that means it gives me a nice flat surface to actually launch my rocket off of. So I just cut a hole and then add it, like put on a shape there just to kind of protect it. I'm going to rotate it down using the inside bit of the clock. There we go, so it's sitting flat. And use the black arrow and just change that size to 0 there. And it'll just lie flat on the bed. Drag it into place and that's you finished. All you need to do then is go to export, which is up in the top right hand corner, and save it as an STL file. And that's you.